All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody is having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Guys, we had some pretty impressive stuff going on this week, and I do think that is setting us up for a pretty green next week. I'm going to say over the next 1 to 2 weeks, we are probably going to be seeing new highs with what is just printed here on the weekly candle. Okay, the weekly candle for this week, or I should say on the weekly time frame, the weekly candle for this week on most of the tickers, if not all of them, that we're going to look for besides Apple, that we're going to be taking a look at today, are suggesting some pretty crazy reversals could be about to take place. I think this is probably the start of that reversal. This was the week that really set in stone. And I think we should be expecting higher prices over the coming weeks because of what we got this week. All right, let's start off here with the indices. Then we're going to go over the big boys, the Mag 7 stocks. Then we can go over semiconductors, Bitcoin stocks, Bitcoin, of course. And then I have over 10 trade ideas going into next week for you to pay attention to. All right, let's start off here with SPY, guys. First things first, bullish engulfing candlestick. That is what we got this week. We had a bearish engulfing candlestick last week, get engulfed this week on the bull side, and we closed out near the highs. All right, now coming down to the daily time frame, guys, your support, you're going to be paying attention to today's low. All right, so Friday's low here. We got 595.61, 594.30. 591.04 and 589.20 on the upside. As resistance, we're going to have 599.70. Well, before that, 597.75. We're kind of just sitting right on it. Above there, 599.70 and then 602.13. Get above 602.13, and that's when I say we're probably going to start making our way up to 609.07. Same way. All right, we were retracing this whole move, this most recent decline. Above 594.30 right here. All right, we discussed this in the previous video. Above 594.50, that is seller's line in the sand. Above there, you're probably going to start drifting up towards 599.70. You're going to drift towards that 100% retracement. All right, that is exactly what happened today. You didn't quite hit there, but I still think that's going to be hit here in the short term. But yeah, now it's the same situation except on a larger scale there. Break above 602.13. You're probably going to start making your way towards 609.07. Above there, you have 606.41 and then 609.07. Now coming over here to QQQ. All right, first things first, guys. We pointed out how, we thought this was bullish consolidation. I know, Henry, you're freaking crazy. Bullish consolidation after all this selling? Are you freaking a nutcase? Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay, guys. Nutcases get paid. It was as simple as that, guys. You had an impulsive move up. You have this back and forth, this controlled selling. I pointed out while we were sitting down here, all right, at this most recent leg down, I pointed out right here, it was either right here or right there at the bottom. I'm really not sure which day it was. I think it was in the weekly update coming into this week. I was pointing out, I thought we were setting up for some pretty crazy things coming into this week. All right, so we spent a lot of the video just discussing how, if we see that, that capitulation day, Monday or Tuesday, how we can take advantage of that. All right. So I hope you guys took advantage of that this week. I hope you guys are making money in this market. I really do. And that being said, let's get back into the NASDAQ over here. Okay. It's a fresh breakout over here of this controlled selling pattern here, which was, this little bull pennant, bull flag, falling wedge, whatever you want to call it. You got your little pop above the upper trend line today. You got your daily close above there, and then same thing as SPY on the weekly time frame. All right, pretty crazy green candlestick here on the weekly candle for this week. Did not get the bullish engulfing candlestick. Did not get above this body over here, but nonetheless, guys, this is nothing less than bullish over here. Same thing as SPY. It's suggesting that reversal is probably right here. Okay, this was the week that started that. We're probably going to be carrying out that reversal over the coming weeks. All right, daily time frame over here, guys. Let's go over support and resistance. Your support, you're watching 522.03, 519.06, 516.64, and 513.28. On the upside, as resistance, we're going to have today's high at 524.07. Get above there. 525.99, 527.92. I actually do think that was a glitch. We're not going to use this level because that wasn't the high of today. I noticed that intraday, that was not the high of day. We're going to be watching 523.46, 525.99, 527.92. All right. Same thing as SPY, that 602 level right there, guys. You got to break above 531.24 over here on the Qs, and you're probably going to start having that straight shot towards 539.15. All right, guys. Big picture. This is all bullish consolidation. We are now starting that next leg up. That is the big picture that, I am saying that these charts are really giving us here. I've given my reasoning over the last, few weeks here on why this is the move that's setting up here. I think we're about to get paid. I think we just started getting paid. I think today was a big day over there. Congrats for anybody who was, holding Tesla over here with us. I didn't like exactly how this thing, decided to just fall off a cliff into the close. But nonetheless, we got a catalyst next week. We got a weekly chart over here that's screaming upside. We got a daily chart over here that's suggesting that upside just started here. We're probably going to make it up here to 475 up there just from this double bottom breakout that we had today. All right. Well, was it today? All right. But you got the follow through on it today. You had it on Wednesday. Okay. All right. So coming back over here, IWM, guys, we're going to finish off with the indices here. IWM, guys, has that same big green, not the bullish engulfing candlestick, but it still has that reversal vibe to it. You are right here at the short-term weekly moving averages. Guys, I've been saying the same thing. Get above 226.64. You have really nothing until 230.55. The fact that you have a swing high here and you came all the way down here making a new low, tapped exactly where we were paying attention to, held the bullish divergence, and now popped up to a new high or a equivalent high. Guys, that shows strength. That shows that bulls are stepping back into the equation over here, and we should be looking for a reversal to start up over here. Okay, so IWM, guys, on the upside, we have 226.64. Get above there, we're watching 230.55 and then 235.92. All right, no, yes, but hang on. All right, you're going to be what really expect to sell is between 233 and 238. All right, it's 233.40 to 238.60. All right, but the level that I'm watching that is in the golden pocket is going to be 235.92. Support on the downside, you have 224.66. Underneath there, guys, we're going to have this little cliffhanger over there at 222.71. Underneath there, you have the gap fill at 220.23. Coming over here to DIA, guys, this was leading the way this week. DIA closed above the short-term weekly moving averages. It's heading straight for the golden pocket. We can clearly see that, guys. We are looking for 440 plus this week. Here on the daily time frame, we could see you got above this, supply over here. Supply, it was demand. All right, but then it flipped in supply, and you got above it. All right, so if you pull back to test this 431.42 to 433.20 zone, expect buyers there. All right, but as far as resistance goes, guys, 436.39 today's high, and then look for above there 438.04 and then 439, which is the 0.618 fib from this whole decline right there. That is the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. All right, golden pocket is made up of the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level and the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. All right, expect sellers in here. Okay, so you could pop up in here. Maybe it goes something like this, okay? And then you expect some sellers. Maybe you get some headwinds, all right? And maybe you pop back up. I don't know exactly how that's going to go, but we probably get our pullback here in the golden pocket, okay? All right, weekly chart is the important chart of this video. Important time frame of this video, I should say. It does suggest we are going to be seeing further upside, guys. Buyers defended the crap out of the previous swing low over here on the weekly time frame. We knew if they're going to step in and they're going to save the day, it was going to be before 416.44. What happened? You stepped in right before 416.44 as so much of the market got ultra bearish. And what did we do here on this channel? We did not get bearish. We said, hey, you're about to see a phase ripper. All right, at some point, we're going to at least revert back to the mean. People are trying to short the whole. You got the fear and greed index sitting at 26. All right. You had the McClellan oscillator sitting down, at levels that we were going to be bouncing back at, that we just started, looking for bounce at over here. Okay. If you kept selling off, guys, it was, a downside is limited kind of vibe. That is the theme that we had here on the channel, because we knew that, a major bottom was getting put in. At some point, we were going to snap back to the upside. And that was shaping up to happen. And now, as we could see, it did start happening as of this week. We said, hey, we're going to be back up at 590. And in no time, people are going to be like, what the heck happened? Well, guess what, guys? We got back up to 600 in no time. And people were probably also like, what the heck happened? Okay. You didn't just get back up to 590. You got back up to 600. Real quick. All right. Same week that we were all the way down here at 575, you got back to 600. What do you got to say about that, buddy? What do you got to say about that? On the weekly time frame, guys, you put in the big bearish engulfing candlestick here on Mr. VIX. I've been sharing my thoughts how every single rip was getting sold over here. And then I shared my thoughts after this day right here. I said, I actually do think we're coming a little higher. All right. And I was talking about in the weekly update. You're like, Henry, what are you saying? You're saying things are going lower, but also we're about to have this big rally? Yes. All right. I thought things were going to go a little bit lower, and then they're going to have that capitulation moment, and they're going to get bought up. All right. And that's exactly what, VIX is showing us happened over here, guys. You had that fear spike over here, and then volatility got sold. The fear got sold. We had greed come back into the market this week with this big fat nasty rally that we have going on right now. All right. And now VIX is back down here, guys. So what is the zone, guys? If you are a long-term viewer of the channel, then you know what the zone is, guys. This is the zone that gets a reaction every time it gets tested for years and years and years and years and years, going all the way back to 2021. All right. So, 3 to 4 years of reactions here. Every time you get into it, you have a reaction. You came down to it over here, you had your reaction. You came down to it just now, you have your reaction going on. Don't be surprised if you get, buyers over here on the VIX. We see a pullback. So it'll look something like this over here on SPY. You pull back, you test the short-term moving average, then you move higher after that. And then you get above 602.13. And at that point, we do know we're moving up to new highs with all likelihood. Okay. Come back over here to Mr. VIX, guys. That would look something like this. You get this little dead cat bounce action over here on VIX, and then boom, you come back down to 1427. After that bounce, you're going to reject over here the short-term moving average. We will see how this plays out, but that is, honestly, how I'm thinking this is going to be moving. All right, now let's move over here to the big boys, guys. That's on the weekly time frame. Big break and retest off the previous all-time high here. All right, you asked, what is that 475 level right there? That gray line you see right there. What is that? Guys, we do have a breakout over here. I know we got a lot of lines, but let's just clean that up right here, guys. We'll just take that off for the time being as well. All right, guys, what do we got cooking over here? We do have that increasing volume on the day. Yes, we have that large upper wick on the day, but we do have inauguration day over there on Monday next week. We have a short trading week next week. We have Monday off. We're coming back at Tuesday. We got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Monday is going to be off. All right, guys. But this is something that is probably going to be benefiting off of that Monday catalyst. All right, so I will not be surprised to see a nice juicy gap up over the weekend. Nonetheless, I do think the charts, screw the catalyst. I think the charts alone are suggesting this is going to be shooting up to new highs. First things first, just look at the weekly candlestick that just printed off of, the weekly 9 over here. You already had this thing setting up here on the daily time frame to rip, and now you are starting to see that happen. All right, we got that little peekaboo action over here on Wednesday. Got above the neckline of this, double bottom formation right here. All right, you were trying to get the fall through today. You did get sucked back down underneath 426.53, or like you closed right onto it. All right, guys, but, I think the damage has been done. You already got above here. I think this thing is going to start moving. Take the measure move from over here, guys. We're looking at, that's $49. So take $49 from the neckline there. All right, and that's where we get that 475 number right there. Okay, guys, so I do think this is going to be something that can pop off next week. I am, this is top watch for me right now. I think this is something we should keep our eyes on and focus on over the coming 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, so that's Tesla. If it pulls back into that 402.67 to 414.50 zone here, I think it's a buying opportunity for that move that comes next. But you know, catalyst is on Monday, so ideally this gaps up and we start Tuesday somewhere towards the upper end of Friday's candlestick. All right, coming over here to Meta, guys, closed out the day with that nice lower wick. You got some volatile intraday moves over there on Meta. As you can see, guys, in the weekly time frame, it just keeps setting up. Okay, at some point this thing is going to snap back up and you're going to be, you know, well above 638.40. You're going to be hitting 650, 660. I'm talking maybe even going straight to 700. You know, this has been consolidating and preparing for a while. It's just building up that energy. At some time that energy is going to release. I'm not a hippie, all right, but that is what is happening here on this chart. You're just consolidating. You're getting ready for that move, and at some point you're going to release this consolidation we got going on here. And yeah, the guy's going to go beluga straight into the sky over there. Okay. I can't tell you when that's going to happen, but you did close out with this, you know, nice long-legged doji candlestick for the second week in a row here. You're holding the short-term moving averages over here on the weekly time frame. You're holding our zone, our breakout zone over here. Okay, you lost it. You came back and reclaimed it. You know, things are looking good over here in the weekly time frame. Just got to wait. Just got to be patient. This thing is going to be back up at new highs. All right, coming over here to Apple. This is honestly the only one I can point to that looks like absolute garbage to close out the week. It does not look good. You came down. You did not find buyers at the short-term moving averages over on the weekly time frame. You were starting to, but then you had yesterday, you had Thursday come along, and it took a giant dump on the weekly and daily chart over here. It had a great setup over here, and as you could see, it got crapped on. Now you are at the 0.786 fib, so buyers are stepping in the golden pocket from this most recent advance. But I cannot tell you, I think this is going to hold over here. I think we're coming a little bit lower. We will see how this plays out. At the end of the day, once price gets back above 237.23, that is when I think this thing is going to start moving back up to the upside. Until then, it's just going to be basing out. And, you know, eventually it breaks up from that base, but that's what I'm going to be paying attention to over here in Apple. You know, ideally, yeah, buyers, they step in right away. All right. And this little false breakdown we got going on over here from this, you know, break and retest zone over here. You don't want to see what's happening over here. But at the same time, we do know downside is limited. So, you know, I don't think we're going to be coming that much lower over here on Apple before snapping back. You know, buy your time. If you're playing with shares, you know, you're an investor. These are the times where you are going to be adding to that. And you'll probably come out a winner if you just give it 1 to 2 months. Okay? So that is Apple. Amazon, honestly, arguably the best weekly chart over here going into next week that I am seeing out of the big boys, out of the Mag 7 stocks. This is honestly phenomenal, guys. You have this clear as day, you know, bull flag, bull pennant, falling wedge, whatever you want to call this thing. It's clear as day here. It's being respected, and it looks like it is about to bring you that next leg up above 233. So that is where I personally think this is coming. Your resistance. All right, what are you watching? You're watching today's high at 226.51, above there 229.14, and then you have nothing until 233. You know, I do think we're going to wind up at 233 in the short term over here. You could clear as day see the, you know, what's building out over here. On the weekly time frame, this thing is getting tight over here. You just had, you know, that first bit of reversal. You had that first taste of your reversal over here with this weekly candle close. Just like what I was saying at the beginning of the video, on most of these stocks, we have, you know, reversal candlesticks. This calls for something that's probably going to unwind over the coming weeks. This consolidation is going to unwind to the upside. All right, so that's what I'm looking for over here on Amazon. 233 plus incoming, probably going to happen this week. You know, yeah, probably going to happen this week, guys. We're on this week right here of reversal, and you know that is what comes next with all likelihood. Google over here, guys, same look as Amazon. Pretty sick look over here on the weekly time frame. You can't sleep. Previous all-time high. You've just been basing out above it. This thing looks like it's absolutely going to explode. You just got to be patient on her. Okay, you just got to be patient on her. Above 198.16, guys, that's really the level that's, you know, keeping price held down here. Break above there, get a daily close above there. You're probably going to break above 202.88 on the next daily candle. You know, I would be looking for new highs after that. This thing looks like it could get going. You could get another like $10 extension up here, and we very well could be above 210, 215 in the short term. All right, that is what I'm seeing over here on Google. But weekly candle chart really setting up over here, basing over previous all-time highs and above the weekly 9 EMA. Microsoft, guys, this was showing some strength compared to others the other day on the sell. As you can see, doesn't look too pretty over here on the daily time frame, but you can see it has like this this bottom over here. You have a lower low over here. It's an ugly double bottom. Here's your neckline at 430, 432. Break above there, guys. What are we going to be looking for? Well, that's $20 of, you know, range right there. We're probably going to find a way back up here at 456.16. All right, so that is where I think this is heading. I'm just going to make that a gray line right there. All right, on the upside, your resistance is 430, 432. 440.94, 446.75, and 456.16. Weekly candle, nice bullish engulfing candlestick, increasing volume. I think we're about to see bulls step back into the equation. Okay, so those were most of the Mag 7s. Let's get into the chips over here. All right, this is the last Mag 7 stock, but it's also what we're going to start the semiconductors off with over here. Okay. On the daily time frame, guys, Nvidia is just kind of climbing back up here. You're trying to reclaim things. All right. It's not the worst look by any means after, you know, that very red Thursday we just had. Okay. You had the big gap up, you know, intraday, you had almost a 4% move down. That's pretty ugly. Okay. Normally you get continuation down from that. What's happening? You're climbing up. You're getting something like this. You're getting something like this where you're gapping up the next day and you're closing near the highs. Okay. I'm going to be completely honest. If you get above 138.75, I think you're probably going to start pushing up here 141.90. All right, that's what I'm going to be looking over here on Nvidia. You know, I knew downside was limited over here. You're either going to find buyers right over here because it's the golden pocket when you were going to put it right over here, most recent advance here. All right, either you're going to find buyers right here or it's going to be down here. One or the other. It's either you're testing 130 again or you're going to find buyers of the golden pocket. It's one or the other. Downside is limited. All right, it is what it is. Okay, you started finding buyers a little early there. You didn't get the best dip buy opportunity, but at the end of the day, this is literally just stuck in a massive range. That range takes place above the previous range. This is getting ready for a massive move up. This was a buying opportunity for that move up. Can it take time? Of course. Until the range breaks, play the range. You know, buyers are in control over here on Nvidia. They're taking back control, I should say. SMH over here, guys, monster weekly candlestick. I think just like the video over there, you got this range building out. I think it's about a break above 262.26 for that range to be broken. That is the top of the range. And from that point, all right, we want to see a daily close above there because you couldn't get it over here. Couldn't get it over here. Let's see it. All right, give me it. And at that point, we're watching 270.54 gap fill up here. And then new highs are probably going to be incoming in the short term, 283.07. And at that point, semiconductors, guys, that is what we're going to be focusing on. Those will be hot. Those will be giving us the momentum. And that is where the short-term money is going to be made. All right, so that's SMH, guys. Things are queuing up in a very bullish manner here. Excuse-moi. I had to get that out. Over here on AMD, guys. All right, not the best weekly chart over here, but as I did mention over here on, you know, when you were breaking this low over here on the weekly update, I was saying bottom is probably between 111.31 and 116.37 on this, you know, this most recent drop here. You did make that bullish divergence over here on the daily RSI. That is something that has been present on every one of those, you know, bottoms over here we've had for the last few years. You got it going on over here. You got it going on over here, guys. That's going all the way back to September 2022. You had this condition hold. Well, guess what? This is another time the condition popped up. So, you know, I'm not really going to go over levels too much here. Resistance 121.83, 127.51, 132.11. Support is 116.37, 111.31. But what I really want to just put your, you know, attention on is the big picture here, which is we probably are putting in a bottom here. This is a bottoming process. We have to wait for a break, you know, above 132 for this thing really to confirm that we have a bottom here. But this is the basing process. That is what is important. We'll keep our eyes on AMD in this bottoming process over the coming weeks. TSM, guys, you just broke out. Okay, you just broke out of all of this consolidation here. That is literally, you know, 2.5 months of consolidation. You just broke out from it. You came back into it. You got back up to the highs. Just go back. Where are you going to see, you know, a high that was put in like this? Okay. It's not going to happen. It can happen, but it's probably not going to happen. You know, you can have like, you know, minor highs, but the major, you know, swing tops that we're saying, like these things, you know, those don't usually look like this. Okay. So, you know, even if you do continue a little lower, expect buyers off of 2805. You got a lot of reactions going on down here, like a lot of reactions. You're going to have the short-term moving averages down here. You're going to have the inverse head and shoulders neckline down here that you just broke out of. You know, expect buyers down there. You got a lot of confluence. We're going to really say in between, you know, 205 and 208.05, expect buyers to be stepping back in, and then expect to move back up to the highs. All right. If SMH over here, if this thing starts to really break out of this range, you're going to get all these things getting a lot of buying pressure here, and TSM is not going to be an exception. All right. It's got a nice setup over here. Expect buyers over here if it retests again this neckline. MU over here, this is one that's looking pretty impressive. You could see my arrow there above 106.74. I think we're going to be heading up to 129 over here. That is the golden pocket. All right, the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level from this whole decline over here. That is the level that I say really starts the move up there. I'm not saying it gets up there immediately, but you break above 106.74. That is when that move starts. Weekly time frame, guys, this thing is really setting up over here. You know, you got a bunch of this consolidation. Now you broke down over here, went to the lows, broke down to a new low. But you know, at the end of the day, you pop back up after breaking down. All right, false breakdown at the bottom of the range. You came back up and you're looking like you want to test the top of the range. I have to assume on that test that you're probably going to break the top of the range with how things are queuing up. So we will be watching 106.74, get above there. We're going to be watching 114.80, above there, 129. All right, your support over here, you're watching 178. But ideally, guys, you don't want to come back and test support. You just want to get above 106.74, and then ideally you can see something like this, like, you know, it's just something carve out here where this short-term moving average just catches up the price. Okay, so you know, maybe you get something like that. You come back, you pull back, and then by the time you're back at this price, this line right here, this blue line, it's going to be up here. That is your daily 9 EMA right there. Price loves reverting back to the mean, so things don't go straight up. They just don't. See how you went up, big, pull back, reverted to the mean. You literally pull back to your short-term moving average over here. Big move up, pull back, reverted to the mean. Okay, big move down. Well, then you consolidated, reverted to the mean right there, and then another big move down, and then you came back up and you tested the short-term moving averages. Okay, you always revert back to the mean. Okay, so don't ever expect things to go straight up or go straight down. Coming over here to ARM. Big breakout. Okay, big breakout. It's queuing up to break out of this range. I could feel it. I could see it. All right. I don't know if I really want to touch it this time around because, you know, I just had to sit through some red over here. But I'm going to tell you right now, ARM has kind of been the strongest, you know, semiconductor that I've been watching. Okay. I think this thing is queuing up for a move. You have this trend line right here. Touch point, touch point, touch point. Okay, you broke out. You got a daily close above today on the weekly time frame. Bullish engulfing candlestick. We clearly see this is, you know, it's getting ready for a move. I don't think it's going to be the downside, so I'm going to be paying attention to this. Your resistance is 150.14, 156.40, 164.16, and then 173.23. Above there, you got 188.75. I do think a big move over here is loading on ARM. AVGO. I also think a big next leg up is loading over here on AVGO. Bullish engulfing candlestick on the weekly time frame. All right, support and resistance. Resistance, guys, you're watching 241.75, 247.28, 251.88. Above there, 255, and then 260 psychological levels. That's what you are going to be paying attention to. You can clearly see this little trend line that's building out right here. Guess what? You got a breakout today. You hit it with the break and retest. This thing is probably going to find its way up to new highs next week. Yes, I said it, next week. Crazy. I know, Henry, you're freaking nuts. But yeah, next week. I can see the setup getting there. And if it doesn't happen next week, now I think you advance a little bit, you pull back a little bit, you base out, and then you go. Okay, so next 1 to 2 weeks, new highs incoming. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin, guys. Daily candle. All right, it's not closed out yet. We got 2 days, 1 day, 23 hours left on this. but this is pretty sick. This is something that suggests we're probably going to be heading up to new highs above 108,364. All right, we did not get the bigger pullback that we were, think it was possible there. Okay, you did not see the daily RSI come back into oversold territory. We were watching for it. Did not happen. Instead, you swept all over the range, and you are now coming to the top of the range. It's looking like you want to make a move. So what are we going to be watching, guys? The Bitcoin stocks. All right, I'm personally not going to be playing a Riot, CLSK, Mara. All right, Bitcoin, MSTR this time around. Those are going to be my focus. Over here on Riot, though, I will just say very clean setup over here loading. You could just see what I'm seeing right here. You're literally consolidating right there. Do you see that? You were consolidating outside over this trend line, over the downtrend. This thing is probably getting ready for a big move over 1587 and probably is getting ready for that move up to 2068. All right, CLSK guys, hit it with the bullish engulfing candlestick. All right. I'm just going to say this time around, Bitcoin moving up, the miners want to participate. So, I think we're probably about to see some participation, but the chart that I really want to put on your radar here is going to be coin. All right. Coin is one that just closed out with a bullish engulfing candlestick, but I really like where the buyer stepped in over here. And I think they stepped into the perfect spot to get you back up onto new highs. Okay. You got this trend line here. You see left shoulder, you see right shoulder, you see a big old head over here, okay? Well, now you broke above that, you pulled back, you retested it, retested the trend line, retested the golden pocket, retested short-term moving averages over on the weekly chart. Overall, very clean spot to find buyers at, okay? At the top of over here on these wicks over here, you're finding buyers over here. Very clean, okay? It's your resistance. You have 298.52 above there, guys, 308. All the way up to 326.23. Expect sellers to step in there. But honestly, guys, this weekly chart, this thing suggests we're probably getting up to new highs. This is one heck of a setup right over here for a reversal. Coin, honestly, probably going to be the biggest gainer over here on this Bitcoin rally. Aside from MSTR. MSTR also happens to have an absolute monster setup. Bullish engulfing candlestick. Broke out of the downtrend, has a break and retest, broke above the double bottom neckline over here. All right, like if you can't see what I'm talking about, I got you right here. Okay, here's your neckline at 383. Okay, the shorter end of the stick over there, $78. Well, guess what? Above here, guys, this is going to bring you up to probably like 460. Okay, we'll just put that on right there. Come over to coordinates. Come like that, okay, and we'll do a big fat 460. That is the target over here for the double bottom that we just broke out of over here. I do think we are coming up into the golden pocket here. Coin and MSTR are probably going to do some crazy things next week, okay? Now, with that being said, guys, let's take a look at those trade ideas going into the following week, all right? We're going to run through the things that we already took a look at. I'm just going to sum them up right here, starting with Tesla, top watch, Tesla, okay? Bullish engulfing candlestick, increasing volume, off the weekly 9, off the golden pocket, all right? Also off the previous all-time high break and retest, success, double bottom breakout over here. We're looking for 475. We're really looking for 465.33, and then above 465.33, we're looking for 488.54 in the short term, and that big 500 cycle level. Meta, this thing's getting ready for an explosion. I can't tell you if it happens this week, but I think it'll probably happen this week. I don't know though. But if QQQ is looking like this and this thing's just starting to move and it really starts going vertical here, yeah, I think Meta is probably going to pick this week to go. Okay. Crazy things can happen. You saw a pretty big gap up from over here up to the next day. That was a $30 move. This thing's probably going to go. And then it's going to really go when it goes. And you're going to see, a $100 move. Maybe it's just a $50, $60 move. Maybe it's what I'm thinking. Maybe this thing really does get up to 680, 700 all in one go. All right. Amazon. Really freaking clean look here on the weekly time frame. You could see the bull flag set up over here on the daily time frame. Above 226.51, you have 229.14. That'll probably get hit in the short term. Above 229.14, you have 233. Above 233, watch the 235 psychological level, and then above there, 240. Google over here, same look over here on the weekly time frame. Successful break and retest going on here, really just basing out above previous all-time highs. Bullish engulfing candlestick, increasing volume on the week. It's looking sexy over here. Honestly, above 198.16, this thing could snap up to new highs above 202.88. Above there, you're watching 205 and 210. Microsoft, okay? The trigger level, 430, 432. Get above there. We're honestly thinking this thing could start making its way up to 456.16 up there, up to these highs. At that point, we're going to see a bigger move happen with all likelihood, okay? But, you know, on the weekly time frame, you could see this thing, bullish engulfing candlestick, heavy volume here coming back into this thing. I'm liking this. This thing is probably going to be testing these upper levels here this week. MU, guys, this is one that, you know, we just really got to wait for a break above 106.74, get above there. This thing's probably going to start heading to 114.80 in the short term and then start heading up to 129. AVGO, guys, you could see the picture, the beautiful picture over here on the weekly time frame with this bullish engulfing candlestick off that increasing volume. But, you know, really on the daily time frame, you could see it. It's pretty picture perfect here. You had this big, you know, pennant forming here. Guess what? You just broke out to the upside. Above 241.75, we're talking 247.28 and 251.88 in the short term. Riot over here, guys. Weekly candle. This is why it's standing out to me, guys. You're consolidating. You have a big range going on here, just building out. Guess where that range is taking place? Right above the trend line it just broke out from, okay? You know, big move is probably low over here on Riot. TSLA, same look, except not as sexy, honestly. I would avoid this thing, honestly. It was my favorite, and then it became my worst nightmare. Okay, but same thing over here as a lot of these tickers. You got the double bottom breakout. That's $2 right there. So just take it from the neckline, guys. You're probably going to get up to 1332. Okay, next one we're taking a look at, guys. That is just the thing, the reason why we just looked at Riot, CLSK. It's Bitcoin itself, guys. You got a big fat, I'm not even gonna call this a hammer candlestick. It's just a big fat bullish candlestick at this point. You got the nice long lower wick. You have the nice long upper body there. It's looking freaking beautiful. You have this, you know, range of like 3 months here. This thing is gonna snap. Not 3 months, 2 months. You have this range of 2 months here. At some point, this thing is going to snap and it's going to be in the upward direction above 108.364. At that point, you hit 110, 115, 120, probably hit 120. Okay, this range, it is 16,000. Okay, so what happens if you take 16,000? You're getting above 120. You're getting up to 125 at that point. All right, so keep these, you know, crypto tickers on watch. Keep the miners on watch. But specifically coin over here, coin and MSTR. Bullish engulfing candlestick, increasing volume here. Perfect spot for buyers to step in. Honestly, one of my favorite charts right now. You got Tesla, you got coin. I'm really liking how Amazon is setting up for next week. But, you know, in the short term here, I'm going to say coin, Tesla, HIMS. That's another big one. We'll look at that, you know, shortly after this. But, you know, those are my favorite charts right now. Okay, next one is MSTR over here. Already went over this double bottom. That thing could take us up to 460, all right? But you got the golden pocket. Expect price to test that golden pocket and then expect sellers there. I'm not saying they step it up in there because if Bitcoin gets another leg up, then, you know, this thing can make its way back up to highs. We are clear as day seeing that participation this time around, whereas the last time Bitcoin was at new highs, we did not see that participation, okay? HIMS, okay? We have not looked at this chart yet today. But, you know, HIMS is one that I really think is setting up for a big move here, back up the highs. And then I think we're going 40 plus in this move. You know, I'll just make it a white line here so you guys can clearly see it. Previous all-time high over here. Okay. Rejection. Rejection. Pulled back. Big impulsive move up. Came back in a controlled manner. Retested where you had a bunch of rejections. Okay. That also happens to be your inverse head and shoulders neckline right here. Okay. And now you're finding buyers. Guys, this thing is basing and it is getting ready for that move up above 35 bucks and probably it's going to be going to 40 bucks on this next leg up. I'm thinking this is a huge play. All right. Right now, guys, you know, ideally Tesla's going to play out this week. we're going to have, you know, probably the Mag 7 stocks going up to new highs, like most of them. We're talking Amazon, we're talking Google, all right, we're talking Tesla, we're talking Nvidia, probably not going to go up to new highs. Apple's definitely not going up to new highs right away. Microsoft's definitely not doing that, all right? But, you know, those guys are going to be seeing new highs with all likelihood. We're going to see the Bitcoin stocks go. But, you know, ideally, you know, those go, and then those can take a back seat as we see some of these alternative style stocks go. HIMS doesn't care what the market's doing. That's why I say that, guys. You know, it's very good if you could find a stock that's not going with the market as the market is correcting and stuff like that. All right, because then you have something to take your mind off things. You know, it's something that's going to be behaving in a positive manner as everything is not. So, you know, ideally, guys, HIMS just, we see everything else goes. HIMS continues basing out here. But regardless, guys, I'm getting ready to pull the trigger over here above 280. Not 280, above 28.72. That's the trigger for this. You have this big base building out here. All right. So you have this. This is a 1 month base. You break up above 28.72. That's the top of this range here. Guys, this thing's probably going to start pushing all-time highs. We're loving the look of this thing, okay? Above 28.72, watch it for 31 in the short term, and then 33.14. Above 33.14, you're going to hit 35.02. Above 35.02, 40, okay? 40. But, you know, clear as day, sexy break and retest going on over this downtrend, this trend line right here. You know, you're bouncing back at the golden pocket from this most recent advance here. Slow and controlled selling, just like the Qs I pointed out before. You know, this thing's getting ready for a big move, guys, and I think this could be quite lucrative. We just got to be patient here and wait for that move to start up. Speaking of moves just starting up, KO just started up today. All right, I put it on your radar the other day on this trend line break. But as you can see, we have now, you know, gone above the short-term moving average, pulled back, you know, confirmed that, you know, bulls are in control here, and then came up to new high, which that's really the part that's confirming things. All right, guys, we got above 62.62 above there. Watch for 63.92 and then 65.10. You know, big move is loading over here on KO, and I think it just started. You know, this thing you could see on the weekly time frame, it probably just started. This thing is, you know, over here. You had one green candle, and the next one was a red candle, and then you crapped the bet. You know, let's just see if you can print another green candle here, and you're probably starting something bigger here, okay? At that point, you're sitting like this, okay? But, you know, you got this massive correction going on here. Well, you got this first green candle, and then you got the second one. Let's get the second green one, because over here you got the first one. You got the first one. It didn't amount to anything, okay? But clear as day, you know, we knew about the setup well in advance. I put it on your radar somewhere over here. I've been waiting for this trend line break. It came, and now we are really seeing bulls step into the mix over here, okay? Bullish divergence here on the daily time frame. Above 62.62, we could see move up to 63.92, and then above there we have 65.10. Okay, I do think this has what it takes to really start getting going here, and we're going to start to move up like this, okay? Or move up like this, like something that is it's not this. It goes for a lot longer, and it could bring us up to 66.58. Okay, golden pocket from this whole decline here is up there at 68.86. All right, next one we're looking at Oklo, specifically weekly candle chart over here, guys. Big break and a retest. You based up this for 3 months here. All right, it's just about we'll say 2.5 to 3 months here. You've been basing. It's getting ready to break up above there, all right? So don't mind all these gray levels here. We'll just take everything off and, you know, really just look at how this thing is shaping up here. You can just have one level. It's going to be right there, guys. If you can get above 28.12 again, that's your trigger for this thing is probably going to start having a lot more upside. You're going to have the next leg, okay? You have that little, it's that, you know, you could look at this as a false breakout. Clear as day, we see buyers are, you know, being relentless over here. They want to keep stepping up to the plate. You know, they're probably going to win this battle over here. So get above 28.12, guys. Look for that snap up to $30, but then also 31.91 in the short term, and then that 35 psych level. Next one we're looking at is BA over here, guys. I pointed out after it started selling over here in the golden pocket from this most recent decline here. All right, we're pointing out how this was a buying opportunity over here for that next move up to 196.95. You know, you had this little falling wedge that was building out over here. You just started seeing that breakout today. So that is why I'm putting it back on your radar here. You have a nice weekly hammer candlestick here, Dragonfly Doji, whatever you want to look at this as. Important part is you got above the short-term moving averages. See how over here you did not, ever since you declined underneath these, you know, from the top over here, ever since you had this decline underneath the short-term moving averages over here on the weekly time frame, you have not been able to reclaim them the whole time. You just reclaim them. This is the start of you doing so. You're reclaiming them right now. A bigger move is loading over here on BA. I told you I'd tell you when the time has come because it's going to be real obvious. I told you about it right here. All right. You see this whole move you just got to play? Well, guess what? You're about to see round 2. All right. On the week, this is a weekly time frame. It takes weeks to play out. You're about to see round 2 of upside for BA. All right. Schwab over here, weekly. All right. Bullish engulfing candlestick. In the short term, you're probably going to be getting up here to 78, 71. All right. That's where you're going to be paying attention to over here on Schwab. And that is what I have for you. SoFi, guys, big bullish engulfing candlestick. This thing is coming up to new highs. This thing is probably going to be testing 17.50 and potentially 19 bucks on this move up. But one thing's for sure, you had all this consolidation. This was all just a correction because in 1 week you snap back up to the highs. This thing's about to start moving. The train's about to start leaving the station again. Costco, big hammer candlestick here on the week. You've been basing out here for 3 weeks now down here. You have this double bottom formation right here. If you can't see it clearly, I will just help you out with that. I know I have bad vision too. Don't worry, guys. I wear glasses. All right. But you know, this leg right here, the shorter end of the stick right here, 33 bucks. Okay. So take it from the neckline. What's 33 bucks? Well, it gets you right up here to 976.30. All right. So we're going to make that our gray level. That's our target here for Costco. We're targeting 976.30. All right. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It was on the shorter end for these weekly updates. Actually, it is average. We came in at a 46-minute video. That is okay. I was getting excited earlier in the video. I saw like 30 minutes. I was like, oh my God, I'm almost through everything. This is going to be like the shortest video ever. Yeah, no, I got excited too soon. We had a lot of trade ideas to talk about towards, you know, the end of the video there for you. And I hope you guys make money off these things. I hope you guys are doing well in this market. It's definitely a hot market right now. We're in easy mode. We just saw the market correct for weeks. Just prepare. There is another impulsive move coming to the upside. That is something that you can very much so make money off of, and you can make a lot of money off of that. So I hope you guys are doing well in this market. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of their weekend, and peace.